The massive research vessel glided silently through Earth's atmosphere, its sleek alien design contrasting sharply with the blue-green planet below. Inside the ship, 5 young researchers from the Xylarian Academic Exchange Program huddled together, their nervous excitement palpable. J1, the lead researcher, adjusted his translation device and peered out the viewing window. His crystalline body shifted colors with anticipation, a biological response to extreme curiosity. Beside him, Hyun-Ki checked the cultural interface maps one last time, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. The university campus sprawled beneath them, a complex network of buildings and pathways teeming with human activity. As their ship settled into a designated landing zone, the alien students could barely contain their scientific enthusiasm. They had spent years preparing for this moment, a comprehensive study of humanity's most peculiar species. Morning light spilled across the campus. Students walked in groups, carried backpacks, and moved with a purposeful energy that seemed almost choreographed. But something caught the aliens' attention immediately. The small objects in human hands, cylindrical containers, steaming liquids, dark mysterious substances that seemed to command an almost ritualistic devotion. Are those containers of potential biological weapons? Sungmin whispered, his sensory appendages trembling with confusion. The humans moved casually, sipping, from these containers without any sign of distress. No protective gear, no emergency medical teams nearby, just calm, almost mechanical consumption of what appeared to be a potentially dangerous liquid. As the ship's doors opened with a soft hiss, the 5 alien researchers stepped onto Earth soil for the first time. Their protective suits shimmered, a mix of adaptive technology and scientific caution. J1's research team represented the most advanced xenosociological unit from their home planet. They had studied countless civilizations, but humans remained an enigma. A group of human students walked past carrying those mysterious containers. Steam rose from the top, carrying an intense aroma that immediately triggered the aliens' complex sensory systems. The smell was unlike anything they had ever encountered, rich, complex, with undertones that seemed to vibrate at multiple frequency levels. Observation 1. Hyun-Ki muttered into her recording device. Humans appear to willingly consume a substance that would be considered a chemical weapon on at least 247 known planetary systems. The students seemed oblivious to the aliens' intense scrutiny. Some laughed, others looked tired, but all seemed connected by these small containers. One human, wearing a red jacket and carrying an oversized cup, walked particularly close to the alien research team. Jaewon's translation device worked overtime, capturing snippets of human conversation. "I can't function without my morning coffee. 3 shots of espresso, please. I'm dead without caffeine." The aliens exchanged bewildered glances. Dead? Functioning? These seemed like critical medical terms, yet the humans used them casually, almost cheerfully. A young female student accidentally bumped into Sungmin. Her cup tilted, spilling a small amount of dark liquid. Instead of showing alarm or calling for decontamination, she simply muttered, "Oops," and continued walking. The droplets hit the ground. No explosion, no toxic reaction, just a simple dark stain on the concrete. "Fascinating," whispered Sungmin, scanning the liquid with his advanced molecular analyzer. "Complex organic compound, multiple stimulant molecules, potential neurotransmitter enhancers." Hyun-Ki nudged him. "Stop analyzing and start observing the cultural context." As morning progressed, the aliens watched hundreds of humans interact with these mysterious containers. Some stood in long lines at small buildings marked coffee shop. Others gathered in groups, these containers serving as some form of social connector. Jaewon's initial research hypothesis began to shift. This was not a weapon. This was not a medical emergency. This was something entirely different, a cultural phenomenon that defied their initial understanding. "We need more data," he announced to his team. "Our entire preliminary report might require complete reconstruction." The other researchers nodded, their alien bodies subtly changing colors. a sign of intense intellectual excitement. Little did they know, their journey into understanding human coffee culture had only just begun. The most shocking discoveries were waiting just around the corner. In that moment, standing on the bustling university campus, 5 alien researchers realized that humans were far more complex than any galactic database could have prepared them for. Professor Park Hyun-ki stood before the alien research team, a steaming mug in her hand. The classroom was quiet, with 5 alien students watching her every move with intense curiosity. "Coffee is not just a drink," she began, her voice calm and measured. "It's a survival mechanism for humans." The aliens leaned forward. Jaewon's crystalline body flickered with multiple colors, a sign of deep processing and confusion. Around him, his fellow researchers prepared their recording devices and molecular scanners. Hyun-ki demonstrated the coffee ritual. She showed how humans prepared the drink, grinding dark beans, heating water to precise temperatures, creating a liquid that looked more like a potential weapon than a beverage. The aliens watched in horror and fascination. "Humans consume this substance multiple times daily," she explained. "It contains a chemical called caffeine, a molecule that would kill most biological organisms instantly." Sungmin's scanning device went crazy. The molecular structure of coffee was complex, a dangerous cocktail of chemicals that seemed designed to overwhelm biological systems. Yet humans consumed it with complete nonchalance. Outside the classroom window, students moved with a strange rhythm. Those without coffee looked tired, almost zombie-like. Those with coffee moved with purpose, their eyes sharp, their movements precise. "It's a social ritual," Hyun-ki continued. "Humans use coffee for multiple purposes: waking up, staying alert, connecting with others." She demonstrated by inviting a human student into the classroom. The young man, named David, carried 2 coffee cups. He looked tired but became instantly animated when he took his first sip. "See?" Hyun-ki pointed. Instant transformation. The aliens were stunned. On their planet, such a rapid biological change would require medical intervention. Here it was a normal morning routine. David explained how coffee shops were more than just places to get a drink. They were social spaces, meeting points, places where humans connected, shared stories, made business deals. "Sometimes I meet my friends for coffee," David said. "Sometimes I work from a coffee shop, sometimes I just want to feel warm and comfortable." The alien researchers took notes furiously. This was not just about a drink. This was about human social architecture. Jaewon's research brain calculated rapidly. Coffee was a cultural technology, a social hack that humans had developed to overcome biological limitations. They could extend their productive hours, enhance mental performance, and create social bonds, all through a single beverage. Hyun-ki showed different coffee types. Espresso, a concentrated version that looked like a small, dangerous potion. Cappuccino, with its artistic foam designs. Americano, simple and strong. Each type had a cultural meaning. Each preparation method carried social signals. Humans judge each other by coffee choices, she explained. A person's coffee order can tell you about their personality, their job, their social status. The aliens were shocked. On their planet, such complex social communication happened through complex telepathic signals. Humans did this through a drink. More demonstrations followed. How humans added milk, sugar, created complex recipes. How they had entire industries built around coffee, from farming to roasting to brewing. But why? Sungmin asked. Why risk consuming something so potentially dangerous? Hyun-ki smiled. Because humans are not just about survival. They are about experience, enjoyment, pushing boundaries. The classroom fell silent. The alien researchers realized they were witnessing something extraordinary. Humans had turned a potentially toxic substance into a global cultural phenomenon. Outside, more students passed with coffee. Some walked fast, some walked slow, but all seemed connected by this mysterious ritual. Jaewon's final note for the day was simple but profound. Humans do not just drink coffee. They live through coffee. As the class ended, the aliens looked at their own research equipment. Their understanding of human culture had just been completely rewritten, and this was just the beginning of their investigation. The coffee ritual was more than a drink. It was a window into human civilization itself. Lee Sung-min's laboratory buzzed. With nervous energy, 5 alien researchers surrounded a complex array of scientific equipment, ready to investigate the mysterious substance called coffee. The first test subject was a standard coffee cup from the campus cafe. Dark liquid, strong aroma, potential, biological threat. Jae-won's molecular scanner worked overtime. The caffeine molecules danced across the display, complex, interconnected, almost alive. Each scan revealed new layers of complexity that challenged everything the aliens understood about biological substances. "This is not just a drink," Sung-min muttered. "This is a chemical miracle." They began with simple experiments. What happened when different alien physiologies encountered coffee? The results were both terrifying and fascinating. First, they tested Hyun-Ki's gaseous form. When coffee molecules touched her molecular structure, she vibrated intensely. Her normally calm, blue-green form turned bright red. For 3 full minutes, she moved at triple her normal speed, processing information faster than any computer. "Incredible," she whispered. "Absolutely incredible." The second test involved Jae-won's crystalline body. When coffee droplets touched his surface, his entire structure began to resonate. Colors shifted rapidly. Information processing speeds increased by 200%. Sung-min documented everything. His hands moved across holographic screens, capturing every microscopic reaction. The coffee's impact was unlike anything in their galactic database. They discovered something shocking. Humans consumed a substance that would kill most known biological entities. Yet humans not only survived, they thrived. The molecular breakdown was complex. Caffeine worked by blocking specific receptors in the brain. It tricked the body into feeling more alert, more awake. It released emergency energy reserves. It pushed biological systems beyond their normal limits. "It's like a controlled biological override," Sung-min explained to his colleagues. They brought in human test subjects, volunteers who agreed to help alien researchers understand their morning ritual. Each human came with their preferred coffee, some black, some with milk, some with complex sugary additions. The variations were mind-blowing. Some coffees were quick energy shots. Others were slow, complex experiences. Each had a different molecular structure. Each impacted human biology differently. One human, a graduate student named Michael, explained how he used coffee strategically. "Before an exam, I'll have a strong espresso. During a long work session, I'll nurse a large latte." The aliens were stunned. Humans had developed an entire strategic approach to a potentially toxic substance. More tests followed. They measured heart rates, brain activity, muscle response. Each test revealed how humans had adapted to consume something that should have been dangerous. Normal biological systems would collapse, Jae-won noted. Human systems upgrade. They discovered coffee's complex origin. Plants that developed caffeine as a natural defense mechanism. Humans who discovered and cultivated these plants. A perfect, evolutionary dance. The laboratory transformed into a coffee exploration zone. Beans from different countries, roasting techniques, brewing methods. Each added another layer to their understanding. Sung-min's final report was revolutionary. Coffee was not just a drink. It was a biological technology, a chemical strategy that humans had mastered. "They don't just drink coffee," he told his team. "They use it as a tool of survival and progression." The alien researchers looked at each other. Their initial mission to understand human culture had transformed into something much bigger. They were witnessing a species that could turn potential, poison into a performance enhancement tool. As evening approached, the laboratory was filled with the rich aroma of multiple coffee varieties. Molecular scanners continued their work. Holographic displays showed complex chemical interactions. Jae-won made a final observation. Humans are not just survivors. They are biological hackers. The coffee investigation continued, each moment revealing another layer of human complexity. What started as a simple research project had become a journey of scientific discovery, and they had only just begun to understand. Choi Yoon-ji decided the next stage of research required complete cultural immersion. The alien team would live, like humans, experiencing coffee culture from the inside. Their first stop, a local coffee shop called Morning Brew. The small cafe buzzed with human activity. People talked, worked, connected, all centered around their coffee cups. Jae-won entered first, his crystalline body carefully disguised in human clothing. He looked awkward but determined. The other researchers followed, each trying to blend into human society. The cafe was a complex social ecosystem. Business people in suits discussed important projects. Students typed on laptops. Older humans met for casual conversations. Every interaction seemed connected by the coffee in their hands. One large Americano. Sungmin practiced his human phrase. When the barista handed him the cup, he almost dropped it from excitement. They discovered coffee was more than a drink. It was a communication tool. Humans used coffee shops as mobile offices, meeting rooms, social spaces. A single cup could mean so many things. A business invitation, a romantic meeting, a moment of personal reflection. Hyun-ki observed how humans used coffee as a social signal. Ordering a complex drink showed creativity. Choosing a simple black coffee demonstrated no-nonsense personality. Each order was a small statement about personal identity. A group of university students sat nearby. They shared a large coffee pot, talking about exams, relationships, future plans. The coffee was secondary to their connection. Fascinating, Jae-won whispered. The liquid creates social bonds. They learned coffee rituals varied by culture. Some humans took quick shots of espresso standing at Italian-style bars. Others enjoyed slow, deliberate brewing processes. Some added milk. Some drank it black. Each choice was a personal statement. The researchers started participating. Sungmin learned to order different coffee types. Hyun-ki practiced human small talk. Jae-won attempted to understand coffee shop etiquette. They discovered coffee had deeper cultural meanings. In some human cultures, offering coffee was a sign of respect. Refusing coffee could be considered rude. The drink carried complex social rules. Local workers became their unexpected teachers. A construction worker explained how coffee gave him morning energy. A teacher described coffee as her classroom survival tool. A programmer talked about late-night coding fueled by multiple coffee cups. One elderly human noticed their awkward behavior. "First time in a coffee shop?" he asked with a smile. The aliens froze, but the human just laughed. "Everyone feels weird at first. You'll get used to it." They learned about coffee's global journey. Plants from Ethiopia, cultivation in South America, processing in European countries. Global trade routes built around this single beverage. Coffee shops became their research laboratories. They observed human interactions, recorded social dynamics, understood how a simple drink could create entire social ecosystems. Choi Yoon-ji made detailed notes. Coffee was not just a drink. It was a global cultural technology, a way humans connected, communicated, survived. They witnessed coffee's emotional power. Breakup conversations happened over coffee. Job interviews occurred in coffee shops. Friends reconnected after years apart holding warm cups. The alien researchers began to understand something profound. Coffee was more than a beverage. It was a human connection ritual. Each day they became more integrated. They learned to order without looking suspicious. They understood coffee shop behaviors. They started to feel less like researchers and more like participants. Their final observation was unexpected. Humans had created a global community around a plant-based drink, a simple beverage that crossed cultural boundaries, connected different societies, created shared experiences. As weeks passed, the alien researchers transformed. They were no longer just observers. They had become part of the coffee culture. Jae-won's final note captured their journey. Humans do not just drink coffee. They live through coffee. They connect through coffee. They understand the world through coffee. The cultural immersion was complete, and their understanding of humanity had changed forever. The Xylarian Galactic Council chamber was silent. 5. Alien researchers stood before hundreds of senior administrators, preparing to present their findings about humans and coffee. Kang Min-ah stepped forward, her research data projected behind her. The holographic display showed complex molecular structures, social interaction maps, and statistical analyses of human coffee consumption. "Humans are not what we expected," she began. The council members shifted uncomfortably. They had viewed humans as a primitive species, barely worth serious scientific investigation. Minna was about to change everything they understood. Her presentation revealed stunning discoveries. Humans had transformed a potentially toxic plant into a global, social and economic phenomenon. Coffee was more than a drink. It was a biological optimization technology. J1's molecular scans showed how caffeine worked. A chemical that would destroy most galactic species, humans had adapted to use as a performance enhancement tool. They could extend working hours, increase mental processing, and create social connections through a single beverage. The council watched in stunned silence. Sungmin presented cultural data. Coffee shops were not just eating establishments. They were mobile social networks. Humans used these spaces for business meetings, romantic interactions, personal reflections. A single cup carried multiple social signals. They have turned a plant into a global communication technology, he explained. Hyun Ki's research showed how coffee crossed cultural boundaries. From Ethiopian highlands to South American farms, from European cafes to Asian megacities, coffee created a global, human connection system. The molecular evidence was shocking. Humans consumed a substance that would kill most known biological entities, yet they did not just survive, they thrived. One council elder interrupted. "Explain how they manage this?" Mina smiled. "Biological adaptation, strategic consumption, cultural optimization." She showed images of humans using coffee strategically, students preparing for exams, workers extending late-night projects, travelers fighting sleep during long journeys. Each scenario demonstrated humans turning a potential biological threat into a performance enhancement tool. The presentation revealed deeper insights. Coffee was not just about the drink. It represented human adaptability, their ability to transform potential dangers into opportunities. J1's final data visualization showed something extraordinary. Coffee had become more than a beverage. It was a global economic system. Millions of humans worked in coffee production, distribution, and sales. "They have built entire economic structures around a plant," he said. The council members looked stunned. Humans had done what no other known species had accomplished. They had transformed a simple agricultural product into a global cultural and economic phenomenon. Minna's conclusion was revolutionary. Humans are not just survivors. They are biological hackers. They optimize, they adapt, they transform. The presentation ended. The chamber was silent. One senior researcher asked the critical question, "Are they a threat?" Minna's response was immediate. "No, they are an opportunity, a species that can turn potential poison into a global connection system." The implications were massive. Humans showed a level of adaptability that most galactic species could not comprehend. They did not just survive in challenging environments. They found ways to thrive. The council would need weeks to process this information. Their entire understanding of human potential had just been rewritten. As the researchers left the chamber, they knew they had changed galactic understanding forever. Humans were not a primitive species to be ignored. They were a complex, adaptive civilization with extraordinary potential. Coffee had been their window into human complexity. The final slide of their presentation remained projected in the massive council chamber. It simply read, "Humans, masters of turning limitations into opportunities." The Xylarian Galactic Council would never look at humans the same way again.